Good morning, everybody. William here with the Rockhound channel. So, about a few days ago, Brandon and I went ahead and put out a video among all the other videos that we have done over the past few months. And this particular video, we were out on the Wisconsin River and we had used our gold cube, which I still have sitting over here. And I'm going to get into some rules and regulations that I found out, and I am grateful for a viewer and bringing that to light, because this topic needs to be discussed. I dropped the ball on this, so in a minute here you guys are going to hear me talk about that, among other things that wise prospectors have told me in the last couple days. So stay tuned. So today I am going to take a moment here once again and thank that viewer for getting in touch with me via on the comment section. I am grateful for you bringing that to light, and I went ahead and did my research, and as I just said earlier, I did drop the ball. What I was doing out there was illegal. It is against the law, and I want to be sure that I protect you guys out there who are new, and to be sure that you guys turn around and follow the guidelines per your state's regulations. And today I'm going to turn around and thank also the DNR officer who I spoke to over the phone on this topic. So give me just a minute here and I will go through those topics today. So first and foremost, to my new viewers and those who are just beginning out there prospecting to go look for gold, the one thing that I absolutely must ask you to do is to do your research. And by doing this, it protects you and it protects everyone else that you have with you from any wrongdoing. So number one, to be sure that you do, is go onto your state's DNR website or onto, I believe it is called, one second here if I can remember what it's called, the Bureau of Land Management. If you go ahead and check out their websites, to be sure that you have the right to turn around and take a sluice box, a high banker of any kind of machine. It doesn't matter whether it's hand powered or battery powered. You must check your guidelines, which you will find, and I will put a link to our own guidelines here in Wisconsin, and so that way you guys are in the know. Now guys, this does not mean that you can't pan for gold in Wisconsin. Of course you can. Just be sure that you are doing it per the state guidelines. As per here, that you will find at the WDNR website, it'll be under mining, and it'll be in there in the second or third paragraph, you will see it. It'll state it straight up that panning is okay to do, but as long as you are doing it in 1 cubic yard, if I am correct, if I saw that, and that is per year, guys. 1 cubic yard per year. That is, you're allowed to take from one specific area. So be sure that you are watching that and keep that in mind when you're out there in the field. So guys, I'm not going to go super in depth into this document that I had emailed to me, but I am also going to, in the same breath, recommend you guys to thoroughly check out your state guidelines, the state that you live in. Be sure that you check out the Bureau of Land Management website as well, in case you plan on going out full-on prospecting. Now I want to go over some pointers that I personally have heard from all the old-timers throughout my time doing all this prospecting. So here are a few that are good ones to keep in mind while you were out in the field. So number one, if you're going to dig a hole, always fill it. Be sure that you make certain that the area that you are working is always back to its level position so that there's no hazards for anybody to walk into. It'd be a horrible ordeal if someone were to turn around and fall into your hole. Pro tip number 2. If you pack it in, pack it back out. Always leave the place that you are working better than the way you found it. Tip number 3. Be sure to be a good steward to nature. Now, what does that mean? That means that if you're in an area and you see trash that obviously you didn't bring there, be sure to do your part. Bring it with you. Make certain that it gets into a safe receptacle. Now, this also would include any kind of fishing line or gear that's been strewn about, trash, paper, plastic. If you see things in the water, be sure to bring it out of there. Be sure it's safe and away from any wildlife. Trust me, the DNR officers and nature will thank you along the way. Now, I also wanted to address my fellow rock hounds out there. Again, guys, be sure that you check your state regulations to be sure that you're able to go ahead and collect from areas that you see alongside the roadways and such. It is not permitted in state parks or any wildlife refuge areas or state preserves. Just be sure that you're checking on those regulations and where you're at. And of course, always be sure that you are not doing anything evasive in the area that you are working. If it requires a pick, a sledgehammer, or any of that nature, then it's probably best to leave it right there where you found it. Simple rock picking is allowed if you are doing it for strictly scientific or just collection purposes. I don't want to be the Debbie Downer on this, but I want to be sure that all of my viewers understand that I truly understand the gravity of the situation that transpired, and that is why I went ahead and got right and got in contact with the proper authorities. Now, I wanted to be sure that I went and covered all of my bases. I also read into the documentation there, and you'll find it in the same area under mining, about metal detecting. And I wanted to be sure that I covered that as well in this video. Now, metal detecting is a thing that most folks do. I've just got started into it just the last, 3-4 years. Really haven't had much experience with it, but from what I see on this document, it is allowed in certain areas. It is not allowed in state parks, wildlife refuges, and any areas that are considered an historical area. So once again, guys, I want to be sure that we are all on the same page. Be sure that you go to your local DNR website or your BLM website to be sure that you are checking your regulations, guys. I can't stress that enough. Unfortunately, I dropped the ball over the past year, and tell you what, I'll never do it again. I learned my lesson. So with that said, I'm going to go ahead, go over a few other things that we will be doing throughout the remainder of this season. So guys, obviously we did some goofy things, but we learned our lesson from that. It's not going to stop us too much on what we're doing. The river's a little high, guys. That's all right. We got plenty of stuff here in the shop. I've got tons of stones up in my lapidary station lab. So, but I wanted to also go over a couple other things. We have a ton of metal detecting to do in places that are proper for it. And I guarantee there's probably treasure out there that we have not yet discovered. So that's what we're going to be doing here in the next possible few episodes. I'll be taking out the CTX 3030 once again. And Brando, I'll be putting him behind the Gold Monster 1000 see if whether or not we find any kind of treasures along the way. So guys, we have a ton of material still out there that still needs to be reran. We're going to do that all up on our gold cube, on our 2-stage, on our big old processor yet still. Tons of locations to turn around. We're going to metal detect. Of course, we're going to go ahead and definitely do some panning and some rock hunting to close out the season. So again, I want to thank the viewers that did comment on that video that we did out at the Wisconsin. I do really appreciate your knowledge. And once again, I do apologize to all you folks. I didn't want to mislead any of you out there. I want you guys to be smart and be wise out there. Be good stewards while you're out in the areas that you are in. Once again, thank you guys so much. Till next time, guys, I'll see you next week.